Welcome to the Design to Win podcast, and this is our featured program, Authorpreneur Stories. And I have with me this evening author Paul Blake. He's a Jamaican author and abundant life coach. He's also the CEO of Worthit Motivational Speaking and Training Company Limited. Through his company, using books as a platform, he is impacting lives of individuals by helping them to find their passion and purpose in life through positive thinking. He has 40 days to abundant living, and he uses that in his abundant life coaching program. And this course, 40 Days to Abundant Living, seeks to help individuals change direction, um, change the direction of their life through the practical application of godly principles. He's the author of 3 published books, Words to Inspire Volumes 1 and 2, and a devotional titled 40 Days to Abundant Living. Welcome, Paul, to the Design to Win podcast. We are happy to have you.
Thank you much for having me.
All right, so
Good
tell
to
us,
be here.
thank you. Tell us a little bit about your author journey.
Wow. All right. My journey to being an author started I started writing poetry when I was in high school.
Okay.
And it's not something that I necessarily took very seriously. But with the advent of Facebook, I started writing quotes on Facebook, posting them daily. And through encouragement of friends and family, I was encouraged to to write a book.
Okay.
And I started putting together a book, and one book turned into two because there's Words to Inspire Volume 1 and Volume 2. And I actually have enough material now probably to do another 2 books. So
Okay.
that has been it's something that I love doing. It's my passion. I like to write. I don't necessarily like to read what I write, but I like to write.
Yes. Okay.
Yes.
And how did you go about publishing those books? Did you self-publish or was it traditional publishing?
No, I actually learned about self-publishing quite by accident, really.
Okay.
I think I was on Facebook just surfing one day, and I came across Amazon KDP, which is
Uh-huh.
the self-publishing platform. And when I did the research and started looking at it, I said, but I didn't even know anything about self-publishing then. So it was through discovering Amazon KDP that I started this whole thing of self-publishing.
Okay. Okay. So you're an indie author like myself. Um,
Yes,
and that's
as a
good.
matter of fact, I was nominated for an award from the indie
Excellent.
publishing for the best book design.
Mm, okay. So if we want book design coaching, I guess we can call upon you for that.
Well, I'm not the designer actually. My younger brother is the designer. He's a graphic artist. So
Interesting.
he's the one that did my first 2 book covers, and my niece did the design for the Abundant Life one.
So this creativity runs through the family.
Yeah, yes it does. Yes it does.
Okay. So I think after we are through this interview, I'd like the contacts for your brother and their niece because I'm always seeking to expand my
Definitely,
indie publishing
definitely, no
team
problem.
as I get more as I get more
Okay,
clients. All right. So
yes, no
you're an
problem,
abundant life
no problem.
coach. Okay, thank you. You're an abundant life coach.
Hmm.
What does the abundant life consist of? What is the abundant
All
life?
right. Um, being well, being a Christian, I am concerned about persons who have a Christian worldview who often think that there's really no quality of life to live on earth.
Okay.
So, most of us are living on earth, waiting to go to heaven to um, walk the streets of gold and drink milk and eat honey.
Yes.
But when I read the scriptures, when I look especially at John chapter 10 verse 10, when
Hmm.
Jesus said, I have come that you might have life and have it more abundantly. I never thought that Jesus was only speaking about one spiritual existence,
Okay.
because while we are here on earth, I believe wholeheartedly that God expects us to live a quality of life, right?
Okay.
Which is not necessarily accumulation of material things or wealth, but there's a particular quality of life that we are expected to enjoy. And I believe that in order to enjoy that quality of life, it begins with our mindset, right?
Okay.
It begins with it begins what we think about. It begins with what we believe about ourselves, what we believe about even the very people that are around us. It takes into account that, many times we really fail to live a quality of life because our mindset is really in the wrong place.
Mm. Okay. So in trying to live the abundant life, we need to have the right mindset. And you said the
Yeah,
abundant life has to do with a quality of life. Could you explain a little bit
yeah.
more about the quality of life that you're talking about? What does it look like?
When all right, for me, an abundant life has to do with me getting up every day and living life intentionally,
Okay.
right? Living life deliberately. I wake up every day with a passion for living, regardless of what happens, right? I cannot control my circumstances. Life will happen. Life happens in real time. But while life is happening, how do I respond to life? Right?
Okay.
If something happens in my day that is negative, does it does it destroy my entire day simply because something has gone wrong? No, for me, abundant life has to do with waking up and passionately going out, deliberately living life intentionally, enjoying the
Okay.
best of life. I mean, just go back to something that Paul says in the book of Philippians. Paul says, I have learned in whatever state I am in, I have learned to do what? To be contented. So
Okay.
my abundant living really does not rest upon on me having an abundance of material things. It has to do with me living life intentionally,
Okay.
enjoying even the very simple things of life that we often take for granted, like walking.
Okay.
Some
So
something as simple as
it's
walking.
okay.
Yeah,
So it's intentional living, living every day with passion. But you would
yeah.
say that it does include a level of material, a level of having enough material to live on. Because, for example, if you are struggling to pay your bills, would you say that you're living an abundant life?
No, well, not necessarily, but the question is why are you struggling to pay your bills? So
Okay.
so the, so getting to abundant place is also to rearrange one's life, because I mean you may be not able to pay your bills because you're making some wrong choices. It
Okay.
may be that you need to do something differently. So part of living abundantly is also to change some of the stuff that we are doing. I mean,
Okay.
how many persons get up every day for I mean, like take for instance, at the beginning of every year, persons make New Year's resolution about what they intend to change and how much they plan to live a better life. And give it 2 weeks, they are in back in the same place. Now, abundant living, as I said, is deliberate and intentional living, which means that
Okay.
if you are going to change your circumstance, then you have to change your mindset. And if you're going to change your mindset, then everything else, almost everything else around you have to change, and it takes deliberate effort to do it. Right?
Okay.
So yeah, not paying the
Okay.
bills is a reality for many persons. But question: how often do we come back to that place where I think, why is it that I'm always struggling? What is it that I need to do? What is it that I need to change?
Okay. All right. I get you. So, what steps could, if I'm struggling, the opposite of abundance would be I'm living with a scarcity mindset. So, what steps
Hmm.
would I need to take to move from a scarcity mindset of not having enough to an abundant mindset?
David says in one of the Psalms, the earth is the Lord and the fullness thereof, which means that everything belongs to God. And if I'm a child of God
Mhm.
and God is my father, then it means everything that the Father has also belongs to me. The abundance of God belongs to me. And it
Okay.
means, therefore, that I must go out and claim what God has promised me. And
Mm-hmm.
this has nothing to do with prosperity gospel, by the way. It
Okay.
has to do with what God promises us. You know, one of the things that defeat many of us in terms of living abundantly is that we often come across thinking that the promises of God, there's nothing that we have to do. But you know, I want persons to know that every single promise that is in the Bible comes with a condition.
Okay.
There's God's part and there's our part.
Okay.
So we can sit back and relax from now until the next 30 years thinking that our life will change. If we don't get up and do something about it, we'll still be in the same position after 30
Okay.
years.
Okay. So if I'm hearing you correctly, one of the things you're saying to live in that abundant life, the first step would be to recognize that you serve a God of abundance.
That's right.
And then
That's right. And I always come from that perspective.
okay. I guess we see that in nature. I have a book called When Trees Talk, right? And this is where I first started
Hmm.
embracing the abundant life concept in the sense that you
Yes,
plant one mango seed and you end up with a whole mango tree with multiple mangoes and multiple seeds. So,
that's right.
um, nature itself demonstrates that level of abundance. And then God is always, his first command to us in Genesis, be fruitful and multiply. So do
Yeah.
not just add, but
Yeah,
multiply. So,
one of the texts that and I think I plan to probably do a book on it one of these days. The parable of the 10 talents in the book of Matthew,
ah,
where one man was given 10, one given 5, and one given 1. You know, when I look at the person that was given the 1 talent, why, I mean, the two that was given, one given the 10 recognize God's abundance. The one given 5 recognized God's abundance. The one that was given 1 couldn't see the bigger picture at all.
mm,
And that's one of the things that keep many of us back. Persons who are Christians,
mm-hmm,
we limit God's power
yes,
by by putting God in a cage in our own minds.
okay.
So whatever we can't see beyond, we think that God can't see beyond that either.
Mhm.
And so as you rightly said, that one of the first steps to living abundantly is to recognize that we serve a God of abundance.
Right. And then if I'm hearing you correctly as well, you talked about having a mindset change and then
Yes, this is a
recognizing the
mind.
part that you have to play in the process.
That's right. That's true.
Okay.
Mhm.
All right. So I think if somebody is listening first, you already are getting some of the keys to win and to live an abundant life just from that segment.
Yes.
So, okay,
Yes.
as the CEO of Words Worth It, um, motivational speaking and training company, what role? Because this is the entrepreneurship stories, right? It's more than just being
Hmm.
an author.
Hmm.
Entrepreneurship has to do with leveraging the power of a book to create both impact, income, and transformation. So, what role does your book or all your books play in your company?
When I do a lot of presentations, I do presentations for schools, I do it for churches, I do it for companies. And whenever I enter these spaces, one of the things that I don't just go there to give a speech.
Okay.
I go with the intention that I am impacting persons' lives, and every single thing that I write is is to impact somebody's life.
Okay.
Every single thing that I write is about changing mind. It's about the power of positive thinking. So whenever I leave a presentation, if it's even one person is going to come to me and say, you know, I think I'm ready to start that process of changing. So
Okay.
I use my books as a platform to to get persons to the place. If read just taking up one of my books and reading, you
Mm-hmm.
know, it causes you to ask questions about yourself. That's what I did. So it helps you to evaluate where you are to see
Mm-hmm.
if you really need a change mindset, if you are on the right path, if
Mm-hmm.
there's something that change, if there's something that you need to adjust. So that's where my books.
Okay, so they can, when you speak, you're speaking, for example, the books create that platform whereby persons hear of the book and they would invite you to speak based on the book.
Yeah.
Is that a part of it?
Yes.
So how else are
Yes,
you
it is.
using your books? Are you using it in your coaching program? What other products and services have been spin-off from your books?
Yes, the third book, the 40 days of 40 days to abundant living is actually part of a course that I have, an abundant life course.
Ah,
Um, that is for about 6 weeks, where I carry you through a process, giving you exercises that very practical stuff. It's not anything. It's not about reading and regurgitating. It's about working, right?
okay.
So for 6 week, I would meet you and we discuss some things, and I'll give you practical solutions and a lot of homework, because
Yes.
if you don't do, you will not get the benefit. And
Okay.
that's one of the things that I learned in coaching. Coaching is about doing,
Right.
right? It's not about just telling. As a matter of fact, we don't tell people what to do, right?
Mm.
So because one of the things that I notice about coaching is that many of the persons that we coach, um basically just need a push start.
Yes.
They actually know so much already, but they don't know that they know.
So your job is
so
to pull it out.
so I'm there to pull it out. And a part of one of the things that I love about especially coaching is to help persons to unlock their potential. Because I
Right.
believe that every person that I come across has amazing potential. But the fact is, many persons don't know the potential that they have, and some persons don't know how to unlock it.
Okay.
And much of it has to do with even the kind of world that we live in, that many persons think that in terms of even our careers, that we must take a particular path, and this is the prescribed path. And many persons don't know that some of the things that we take for granted, that they can even make money from. They
Ah.
think that it's so insignificant. So
Mm.
as a coach, I am there to help draw out some of these things.
Okay, excellent. I love that. So your your book Words to Inspire. So through speaking, you are sharing the words to inspire, which eventually will
Yeah.
change lives. And
And a lot about my personal experience too. A
right,
lot of my personal experiences come out through in my writing too.
in your writing. And then as you speak and coach, you're able to share these. And I love the fact
Yeah.
that you built a course around your abundant living
Yeah.
mission and book. So that
Yeah.
is great. So you're intertwining the books with that, because part of what I'm trying to change is what Rob Cosberg calls author 2.0, whereby we're moving from
Hmm.
author 1.0, where as an author, in terms of making it, you're just focused on selling books.
Oh
So
Lord, yeah.
just selling
And
books.
I know the
Yes,
mindset.
instead of
Yeah.
using the books as a platform to generate income and impact. Because I'm sure, for example, someone does their 6 weeks coaching program, they may buy one book that is an
That's right.
essential
True.
part of the program, but the cost of the program, perhaps they would have to buy, if you're using those books wise, they perhaps would have to
Hmm.
buy 15 books to
Yeah.
pay
Yeah. True.
for the
Yeah.
coaching program. So in one with one coaching client, you can make what perhaps would take 15 books to
Yeah.
sell
True.
to
True.
get.
True.
And
True.
then that
Yeah. True.
depends too, after Amazon takes out what they need to take out,
Yeah.
your profit is less. Or
Yeah.
after, if you're doing print books, then you have to take out all of that. So I am happy
You know.
about that, to see how you are integrating the books in your products and services. So I'm hearing at least 3 revenue streams so far, and your books play a vital role in that. So you're speaking, you are coaching, and you also have a
Chin.
course. Are there other products
Yes.
that you have?
Yeah, well,
or
I'm
servicing?
also I'm also a
Service.
counselor.
Okay, you're a counselor. Okay.
I do a lot of counseling too with under the umbrella of Wordsworthit. I'm a marriage counselor, I'm a relationship counselor. I do individual counseling also. Uh I do a lot of weddings, 'cause, I'm a minister.
Yes, yes, I
I
get
mean,
that.
there are several streams, and I teach online. So you know anything that allows me to share my experience, I go after it.
All right, and then I want our listeners to get that you could be doing these things by themselves, but part of having a book is that it it will increase your authority in the field. When you write a book, you're seen
Yes,
as an
sir.
expert. So
That's
if
right.
somebody were to choose between you and somebody without a book, you having a book would give you the edge. So part of the
Yeah.
entrepreneurship journeys, we're saying that leverage, increase the impact. You can have multiplied impact by adding a book to what you are doing, or you can use the book to start a new service, new business, new career.
Anybody that's going to go into our line of business, as long as you're going to do anything with public speaking, motivational speaking, I suggest that you get your material, and material meaning write a book, write a
Right,
book. Just make sure that it is something that is done properly, because
right,
a part of the problems that I've come across sometimes also is that there are persons out there who are in public speaking and have written material, but the material is not properly written.
right.
So I suggest that a little bit more. And my thing, any for quality, anything to produce quality, you have to spend some money to do it.
Yes, yes,
And
yes.
if you want to be a quality speaker, somebody who people want to know, then you have to put in the work to do it. And part of it, you have to do proper editing, you have to do proper
Yes,
design, you have to all
yes.
of that has to go into play.
I'm glad you
You
brought
know,
that up. I'm really, really glad you brought that up because that's why we say independent publishing is a little bit different from just outright
hmm
self-publishing, even though we're using the self-publishing platform, because an independent publisher partners with professionals to get their book
hmm
done. So we have professional editors and formatters to get the book looking as good as a traditionally published book would look.
yeah, man.
We're having some technical difficulties.
Somebody,
Right. So I'm
somebody
glad
said,
you brought that out. All right. So what are the keys to your entrepreneurship success? I know you just mentioned one of them would be making sure you produce professional quality books. What else would you say to
hmm
someone who wants to transition from being an author to an entrepreneur? What would be the keys to their success?
yeah. Um, I would say that tell your story. That I think that above all things, that's important for me. Tell your story,
Mhm.
and be honest about your story. I mean,
Uh,
it is paramount, because people relate to people who are real.
uh-huh.
You don't have to add any thrills and frills to the story. It is your story. I my own story is from, I was one of those persons that was in what you call the dunce class at primary school.
Okay.
Spent many years in the dunce class, and I was told many times that I would not amount to anything.
Hmm.
And here am I now 30 years after, with, I mean, two first degrees and completing two master's degrees. If somebody had told me 30 years ago that I would be in this position that I am today, I mean, they would say that it's not like that. But you have to be honest with your story, and people will relate to persons who are real,
Right.
right? Uh, Secondly, speak. Um, well, I was going to say something. I can't remember what I was going to say.
Okay. That's
But
okay.
you know, I would want to also say to persons that, whenever we get up to speak, that we make sure that what we are saying is quality,
Yes.
right? And so, if we have to go and get additional training, I mean, remember training, when we say training, we're not talking about a year or 2 years of training.
Yes.
Training can be a day or two.
Okay.
To fine tune some rough edges that we have. There
Right.
is nothing wrong with doing that. And in our business, one of the things that is very important in our business is that we have to network with each other,
Ah,
because there are some things that I can do that you can't do. There are some things that you can do that I can't do.
right.
And I find that, when we work together like this, it actually helps us to become established.
Ah, excellent. I think those are great tips. I've often struggled because I used to be very shy with networking and coming out. I mean, I'm a house rat, so I could stay in the house
Mhm.
forever. That's why I kind of love coaching because I can do it from home and even doing this,
Mhm.
I can do it from home. But as you said, tell your story,
Yeah,
speak um, with quality, produce books
yeah,
that are quality books and network.
yeah.
Those
And network.
are
Net-
key. Those are key. So listeners and those who are viewing, you have to write that down. So tell your story because we're in an age where many people are doing the same things. And it's your
Yeah.
story
Hmm.
that makes a difference. There's even something that is called story selling. So
Yeah.
there's a way
Hmm.
to sell your story. I think they talk about story plus offer equal
Yeah.
conversion.
Yeah.
So you
And
tell your story and share
sometimes,
your offer.
sometimes even in telling our story, sometimes we often think that, you know maybe somebody has said what I'm going to say already,
Mm.
and who will listen. But I can tell you, in every audience there is a listener for you.
Ah,
There's always that one person in the audience that probably nobody else, no matter no matter how famous that public speaker is, that person may never be able to reach that one person in the audience. But they might be
right.
just might be you they are waiting on.
Right. So each person has their tribe. So I know we're talking about
Yeah.
speaking and coaching. What if I'm an author and I don't want to get into speaking? How else could I be an authorpreneur or an author
Wow.
entrepreneur? How else could I leverage my book to create greater levels of impact and income? Because the entrepreneur doesn't have to be doing this full time, but we want to ensure that we are leveraging the power of the book to generate
Well,
more income and impact.
you could I mean, you have several persons who probably are not as bold as we are in terms of getting out there.
Yes.
But I think there are other platforms that they can use. I mean, the audio books is taking off.
Uh,
Persons are getting into, and I find out that most times persons today will sit and listen books, rather than reading it. There is also video. Persons who are not inclined to speak may feel more comfortable doing videos and doing short presentations on
right.
video form. So
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 you
there
could
are
do
there are, there are several,
animation or things like that to help.
exactly.
So you don't have to
You
go
you
necessarily
can
go
you
the
can
traditional way. I
mhm,
know speaking and selling your book is big, but you don't necessarily have to
yeah,
speak professionally. There are other things that
yeah.
you could do.
You can use a book to write, as a platform to write in articles, for various podcasts, and so forth. So there are several avenues. I mean, I know many persons who are afraid of going around, talking to anybody, any 10 persons, but there are so many ways that this business works.
Okay.
We don't just have to do proper research. I
Thank you.
mean, there's a
I'm glad you
space for
pointed
everybody.
out. Yes, I know even though you're shy, the author at some point has to show his or her face. And it could be
Hmm.
a short interview, I remember speaking,
Yeah.
being interviewed at a church for about 5 or 10 minutes during the service. And when I was finished, all the books were gone at the end of the
All
service.
right. So there you are.
You
There
may
you
not
are.
want to speak, but you could do interviews like this. And like you said, use up the other technologies. You could use the book to write because there are platforms where they pay you to write articles. And so you just
That's
have to
right.
think, how else can I leverage my book to create
And
income
always,
outside of
always have
publishing?
your books with you.
Always have
Always
it.
carry your book with you. And
Yes.
don't be afraid to tell people that you're an author.
Yes. Even though you
Be,
may
be,
not be traditionally published, don't be
yes,
afraid to say you are an author.
being an author is not the best kept secret. No, nobody knows you're an author if you don't tell persons,
Ah,
right? Because strangely enough, even if your book is in a bookstore,
mm,
persons might not know unless you
yes.
say something.
Yeah.
Because I walk into a bookstore. I may be just be going to the bookstore to look for a particular book. I may not be interested in anything else.
Mm.
But somebody tells me that Ruth book is available at Book Ophelia. When I go, I make a deliberate effort to look for Ruth's book.
All
So, so
right.
we
Yes.
have to, yeah,
Right. Thank you
tell
for
it.
pointing that out. Always walk with your book. Always walk with your book.
All of the books.
And
Always
yes.
even have your business cards. Always have something to give to somebody that tells them about you.
Thank you. I will keep that in mind. And we're closing now, and I just want to ask you two more questions. On the
Hmm.
Design to Win podcast, we share entrepreneur secrets, and you've dropped a lot of secrets today. And we also share keys to help you to win in your life. And you've shared several keys, especially as relates to living that abundant life. Do you have any closing words of inspiration and keys to win for somebody who is listening, who may want to get into entrepreneurship or just to begin living that abundant life? What three, if you had only three things to say to that person, what would you say?
One, dream big.
Ah,
Um, I don't believe in small dreams. I mean, the when dreaming big, you must dream big to the point that it scares you.
ah,
So dream big,
mm-hmm,
and um, be be passionate about what you desire. So, go after it with everything that you have, because at the end of the day, the only time we miss out on life is when we are dead. So as long as we are alive, there is somewhere else to go. So go after it with passion. And thirdly, my mantra in life is I can do all things through Christ.
don't leave the
So
Christ
for me,
out.
there is absolutely nothing that I put my mind to that I can't achieve. Why? Because I have God on my side. And if He tells me that I can do it, I am going to do it.
Okay.
Right? So all of these things are part of my own life experience. I've been there. I know what it is like to get up feeling like you can't achieve anything. And I have had to go on through the process of changing my mindset to understanding that I am greater than I think that I am.
Ah, well, this has been a pleasure talking to you, Paul. I see why you have words to inspire, and I see why you are getting the benefits that you're actually seeing. So where can persons find you, online or offline?
All right.
Say, I've listened to
I
you and I'm interested in living an abundant life or doing that course. Where can we find you?
all right. I'm on Facebook, I'm on Instagram, I'm on Twitter. I have a website, wordsinspire.ja.com.
Hmm.
Every all of my information is on my website, and I can be contacted at 876-835-6524 or 876-839-9865.
Okay. So you're on Facebook as Paul Blake, or
As Paul Blake and as Words to Inspire.
Words to Inspire. So
Words,
we're
yeah.
gonna put the link in the description when this video
Hmm.
goes out. So we want to thank you, Paul, for sharing with us and inspiring us. I personally am challenged, you know, think big, go after it with passion, and recognize that you have a God of abundance, and just begin to think creatively about the different ways and means that you could leverage your
That's
book
right.
of income
That's
and
right.
impact. So this has been the Design to Win podcast. I'm your host, C. Ruth Taylor, reminding you that life doesn't get better by chance, it gets better by design. So create your design to win, and in your design, make abundant living a vital part of it. We want to thank Paul Blake for sharing his inspiring story and invite you to go and check out his products and services. And ta for now, until next time.
Thank you very